Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're gonna work a little bit with some slipper orchids. Do you guys remember this mini garden that we made in a video a few months ago? Well, it's still going great and I have a flower spike. Problem is, I did a boo-boo. I came back from my trip and I noticed one of the Paphiopedilums has some crown rot, and that's because above these orchids I had some other orchids that when I watered, apparently the water kind of just glided from their leaves right into the crown of this orchid. So I need to do something about it. And as pretty as this little garden is, I think you can see the moss did not make it. It is to be expected. It's kind of dry here for it. So as beautiful as it is, it's kind of heavy and I don't really have any place to display it. And in the new house, I don't think I'm gonna have a place to display it. I'd much rather have these guys in my terrarium, which is the orchidarium now. I might want to do it something else. So I think these orchids will look better like that. What I want to do now, just to make things a little easier for me to water, because this dries pretty fast, I want to get these orchids and pot them temporarily again in just normal pots and see what to do about this one that has the rotten crown. See how we save it, because I think it's absolutely savable. And yeah, just show you a little bit the Venustum, which is the one in bloom, because I really love it. It's my favorite, absolute favorite Paphiopedilum. And yeah, just make like a sort of a closure to that episode, which, you know, worked really well, but it is time to move on and use these orchids in a different project. Right, so before we start, don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it and learning something from it. And hey, why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week and it is completely free. But if you're feeling a little extra and you can, do consider further supporting the channel by becoming a member and getting access to some exclusive videos and behind the scenes, checking out the affiliate links down below, checking out the merch. We have orchid mugs at the moment and more to come, or you can use the super thanks option below my videos. Wow, I got that in one take. Amazing. Right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna get you in closer as we start to unpot these orchids, let's say, because they're definitely not in frame, as you can see. So we're gonna see each other towards the end of the video. Don't worry, let's just get on. Is that correct to say unpotting? Because they're not potted. Ungardened. That sounds funny. Let's get on gardening. Now, you might be shocked to see that I'm gonna be using a transparent pot with holes. Now, the reason is that I actually do want to reuse this medium. It worked out quite well for the slipper orchids. Slippers are terrestrial. However, because this medium is not as, let's say, evenly moist as sphagnum moss would be, I need some pots with some extra ventilation holes. And I'm a little bit too lazy to find my soldering iron and drill holes in the nursery pots. So I have lots of these. We're just gonna be using these. And no, we're not gonna have cyanobacteria issues or as many issues, because this mixture is darker colored, so it attracts cyano and algae much slower. And plus I'm gonna be using a decorative pot, so I'm hoping that we will not have issues. And actually I know we won't have the same issues as we would if I were to use sphagnum moss. Right. Okay, this orchid I think rooted itself quite well here, so I'm just gonna fill around. Ooh, these are roots? No. I'm gonna fill around and try to scoop it, as it were, from here. There we are. There we are. And there she is. Oh, the roots are good. I don't know why I'm surprised. Of course the roots are good. All right, well, we didn't root way too much. So now I'm just gonna take medium from here and put it here and just put the orchid in and then kind of just, whoa, I'm not in frame quite at all, am I? The greatest framing of life right here. Sorry, guys. All right, so you know what? I think I need to put it a little deeper because I have some new roots sprouting from here and they were way too high. If you didn't know, if you're new to orchids or to slipper orchids, slippers do not grow aerial roots, and furthermore, if a root grows in the air and it's too dry, it will stop growing and never grow again. They have pretty I don't know if I should say sensitive roots, but when it comes to dryness, yes, they are very sensitive. They simply will not grow, and they only develop in high moisture environments. So we need that pot very close to the roots. Reason why, usually with Paphiopedilums, we go a little bit deeper into the potting mix. We pot them a little bit deeper than we would a Phalaenopsis, because they're simply very, very different orchids. I had some remains here that I removed. And the way to make sure that potting mix, or that the potting mix, doesn't leave very big air pockets, which again, air pockets, we don't want air pockets because the roots will stop growing. So to avoid big air pockets, we take a bamboo skewer, insert it on the side and wiggle. This will make the potting mix fall down into the air pockets much easier. This coconut husk mixture is not the easiest to work with, so this is a very useful tip you can use even if you're using sphagnum moss and bark combinations. So yeah, what I'm doing is just adding this cocoa mix medium. There we go. And with this setup, I don't actually need a top layer of bark or anything of the sorts. As I was saying, this mixture doesn't attract cyanobacteria, so there's no point in shading it with the bark layer, which is the whole reason why I add the bark layer, just to shade the first layer of sphagnum moss. And yeah, we're done. Pretty easy, I would say. The orchid didn't even feel it. Right, let me just take a look-see and see if I have fans that are a little too high, and just add a little bit more mixture in between them. There we have it. I think we're good. Yeah, we're absolutely fine. Well, I have a bit of a bigger air pocket here, but it's right at the bottom, and I'm suspecting that water will stay there, so we won't have issues. Putting the tag back, and then we have it, or there we have it. She's done. Let's take care of this one. This one is problematic. Let's see what we have here. So again, I'm gonna fill around and see what we have here. Okay, so, oh, we actually have multiple fans. This one is still good. It has been touched a little bit. You can see the crown, maybe you can see. It has been touched a little bit by water, but not to the extent of these guys. These guys are done, they're gone. This guy is actually very good. You will have older leaves that are not good anymore. That's fine. This growth, not that good anymore. Let's just not keep it around. Everything else is okay though. I'm just gonna gently pull on the roots just to see which one wants to come off. Paphiopedilum roots are very snappy. All you need to do is look at them the wrong way and they will snap. So I'm not going to be very abrasive with them. So this one is good. And this fan, I don't know. Well, it has good roots, so maybe I'm gonna keep it. It has some baby fans here as well. Yeah, they look good. They haven't been touched. And I do have new roots. I'm gonna keep it as it is. I'm gonna pot it together like this. So let's get another pot. I'm gonna use this tinier pot from RePotme because don't have too many roots, and also these orchids grow roots very slow, so I'm not worried I'm gonna have to repot it in 6 months or anything like I would a Phalaenopsis or a Cattleya. I'm just gonna put medium around it just like we did in the first case, and make sure again that the base of the fans, let's call them like that, they are a little bit deeper into the potting mix. By the way, Paphiopedilum orchids are sympodial orchids. They're not like Phalaenopsis. They don't have that central axis. They're more like oncidiums. They have a rhizome, and each fan is kind of like a pseudobulb, but it's a fan. So it's not uncommon for older fans to die off, and they will never bloom again as well. And new fans are responsible with producing the new root system. They're just terrestrial though, so you must make sure that they're not very dry because they do not like that. They're not as tolerant to dryness as epiphytic orchids are. Right, so this one is done as well. Let's put back the tag. I'm actually going to find some decorative pots for these ones as well. And there we go, both of them potted. We only have one. Should we go really fast with this one as well? Oh, this one might be bigger. This one is 2 fans. Oh, this one grew a little. Okay. Looks good. This one looks nice. Let's remove some old leaves. You have to be careful when you remove these leaves. These guys do not have an obsidian line, so don't like hold your orchid flimsily and do this because it's not gonna work out. You have to hold your orchid pretty firm and then remove the leaf because it takes a little bit of force to remove. Doesn't break off nicely and easily like most other orchids. No, these guys need to be special. Right, let's see, do I have a big enough pot for you? I think I do. Yes, this one will do. Put a layer on the bottom and just place the orchid inside, and again placing medium around it. Pretty easy peasy and straightforward. Yeah, you guys, as I was saying, slipper orchids are really pretty, but they're not, let's say, the main attraction in my collection. I'm not really interested in collecting a whole lot of them because the truth of the matter is they really do not bloom as often as other orchids. There are some hybrids, especially the ones you find in flower shops, like the green ones, the Modier greens and the American hybrids. Those ones, yes, they bloom a little bit more often, but there are some species that bloom every, oh gosh, I don't know, it takes 2 to 3 years to mature a fan, and they only bloom when the fans are mature. So they look pretty, they have nice foliage, but like at some point you don't need 100 of them looking the same, right? When they don't even bloom all that often. I don't know, I'm sure there are many people who are really into Paphiopedilums and would rather collect Paphiopedilums than phals, right? Because foliage may be more interesting for them. I'm not really that type of person. I try to get into foliage plants, even foliage orchids, and there are some that I really like, but there aren't as many as orchids that I like for their flowers. I'm a flower person. Give me flowers all day over foliage. Given with foliage, you can make very nice decorations in your home, but at some point it gets a little bit boring for me. And yes, I do like greenery in the house, but not really to the collecting it point. You know, I collect the orchids for their flowers and that anticipation of caring for them and then having them bloom. You know, it's sort of a gratification or reward. I don't know. I think I work best on the reward system. I work hard and then I need my reward, even if that reward is a lollipop. I work on that principle. I need my reward. Right, so I think we're pretty much done with this guy as well. Right, we're done with him as well. I'm gonna go look for some decorative pots at some point, and that is pretty much done with the slipper orchids. And there we have it. My slipper orchids are potted, and I just noticed something. I've been filming 2 videos now without the big light on. I just have like my studio lights, and usually I turn on all of the lights so I get more light. I forgot to do that. If this video was a little bit underlit, I'm sorry, that's why. I hope it still looks good. But anyway, that's about it with the slipper orchids. This has been a little update. I don't have too many slipper orchids, as I said in a different video. I just have, I guess, 5 or 6 left. Some I've never seen in bloom, but I have for 4 years. This is why I don't really like them. I mean, I want to have a few because they're really pretty. This is a very prolific bloomer, by the way. If you are of the same opinion as me, that you have to wait forever for Paphiopedilums to bloom, get yourself the Venustum. This guy grows very fast for a Paphiopedilum. The fans mature pretty quickly and each fan bloomed. He's not picky. He bloomed like in the most underlit situation under my grow lights right now, because I didn't have really space for that little garden that I made. If I had a more optimized space, I would have kept the garden, but I don't. So it's better for them to be potted to get proper light. But this guy managed to bloom even in very low light, and it looks absolutely pretty. And these guys, this one I've never seen in bloom. This one, nope. The first time I recorded the existing of this one is 2021, but I've had him for longer than that, and no blooms. Maybe this is not the climate for them, I don't know, but really it's not uncommon to wait that much for them to bloom. So that's why I just don't buy a whole lot of them. But yeah, this guy has always been my favorite, and I'm very happy I purchased this one, and I highly recommend it. Other than that, you know, I would recommend you Slipper Orchids, the model leaf ones, if you like foliage. Have a few, I think they're great. Just don't go ahead and buy 20 of them. Maybe you might be disappointed. Maybe you won't, but maybe you will. I mean, I would like, with my whole heart, tell you, buy 20 Cattleyas, and you will enjoy the heck out of the 20 Cattleyas. Slippers, doubts. I have doubts. So yeah, that's the deal with slippers. For now anyway, maybe I will find a much better setup for them that will highlight them more, even if they're not in bloom, like some sort of terrarium of sorts, but we'll see. For now, I'm good with the slippers. So alrighty, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you've enjoyed today's subject. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!